Kelly Thompson, and I'm working with the International Federation of Medical Students Associations. I'm very fortunate to be joined by Miss Amina Mohammed. She's the special advisor to the Secretary General on the post-2015 planning agenda. So we're going to change the flow of conversation a little bit to a bit more political stuff. Sorry for that. So I just wanted to start by asking Ms. Mohammed, we've been hearing a lot about we have 500 days left of the MDGs, but probably a lot more conversation about the post-2015 agenda. In what way is the post-2015 agenda going to be different than the MDGs?
Well, as I was asked to come and do this afternoon, somebody told me we were going to go out like a bang, but I think I'm going to fail that because what an incredible listening experience. I've spent the last hour and a bit just listening to the stories, and thank you, because what it does do is add to the well of experience that I brought with me to the UN 2 years ago to try help craft what would be a development agenda that when we go home, it works for our people. And it's very difficult to stay in New York in our bubble and really see and connect with the reality. After a while, you start getting dragged into cross the T, dot the I, the resolution, and 193 countries who've got a different take on everything, very far from sometimes the things that you're talking about today. And so for me, hearing this gives me a little more energy to go back there. Edith, thank you, because, you know, I was fortunate enough to see my baby survive after being prem like yours and having an incubator that we looked at, it didn't work, having that fluorescent tube thing, only we cut out little things for the eyes because she was 32 weeks. So she survived and I was fortunate. But you know, when you talk about that, I experienced with, and I'm going to keep away from the politics of this story is going, well, Iman, my third daughter, and going into what was a teaching hospital and going through antenatal, very lucky, much like Toyin, my friend, who was privileged but insisting on an obs and gynae doctor. And there she came in to help deliver me at 4 a.m. in the morning. But my experience was lying in this, you know, labor ward with about 15 women with different shapes and sizes. And the young lady next to me that was like 10 times my size, and I was just looking at her. I forgot the pain. I was thinking, how is she going to deliver? And she had nothing, absolutely nothing. Where's your husband? He's outside. Where's your suitcase? Because, you know, I came in with mine, 6 of this and 7 of that and a dozen of this. And she said, I don't have anything. So I forgot I was in labor. I got off my bed, unpacked my suitcase, started dividing my clothes around people. That's just because I was brought up, you know, by a mother who was a nurse and we lived in rural areas. What was shocking for me was to be in labor, to be having my baby. The lady, the obs and gynae lady was there by my side, but I had a wonderful midwife. So I didn't want the doctor. I actually wanted the midwife because this is what she did day in, day out. The experience with her was wonderful. At one point she stopped and she said, look, I have to just go away right now because there's a lady that's come in and she's stillbirth and she has to go deliver her or she'll lose her life. And I was thinking, oh my God, if she goes, I'll lose mine. And I kept saying to her, just give me 5 minutes, I'll push and it'll be out and it'll be all right. 5 minutes, I pushed and Iman was out and off she went to do her job. These experiences strengthened me to do the things that when I was in a position in government, and I think this is important because this is why the MDGs that are unfinished business matter for us to get it right in the post-2015. We had an opportunity, the story of fistula here, going to a hospital and finding it was a Dutchman, only the Dutchman doing these operations in Nigeria of 170 million population, and thinking, this is crazy. How is this man ever going to do? What happens when he dies? What about the rest of the women? And having the opportunity to take money that we could use in public sector and say, you know what, we want all the doctors that we already have. Why can't we train them to do this so that every hospital is open to our women who've got this challenge? And that's what we were able to do then. And hopefully we spread that message to have that done everywhere. The story of TB, God, I never thought that I would ever see a resurgence after my father died at 50 from TB. But what happened 6 weeks ago in my home, 2 people with it. The man that guards our house, and then the people that live with me. And I'm thinking, how did this happen? How did we not know about these things? So the MDGs matter. They're unfinished business. Women and children at the center of it. So the message that came here, adolescents at the center, absolutely. I think we have to know that today the 17 goals that we have actually brought out of the general, out of the membership matter. Every one of them covers most of what you're speaking about. But I think that what is really important that we're not hearing enough about is that there are cross-cutting issues here. I heard today how secondary education matters for girls. I heard today that nutrition matters. These are not necessarily in the health goal. They're in other goals. So we need to come out of our constituency and we need to really fight for all the other constituencies because they matter as a whole. And every experience that we have here in one way or another is interlinked, it's integrated. The Sustainable Development Agenda that we talk about, that's the difference, is that from the MDGs that really were quite narrow, but they did make a difference and they're still unfinished business, to a wider agenda that says to the Minister of Finance, the results that we want from the money you spend to grow our economy must be in the lives of women and children and the poor. We must see the impact in their lives. How are you going to do that? We heard today about the data revolution. We must know where people are so that we can find a way to get to them. We must have advocates, 1,000,001. I can see Chaka Chaka in our audience. I can see Mama Grasa, who's been with us all day. There are so many. Every one of us is an advocate in one way or another. So the post-2015 development agenda needs to be transformational. It needs to be universal. It will leave no one behind, but better than that, it'll give everyone a life of dignity, because that's the very least that we deserve. And we heard that from all our women here today.
Great, thank you so much. And I think it speaks volumes to the power of stories and how Ms. Mohammed is obviously a key figure in post-2015 agenda, and being able for you guys to share your stories with her and her own stories is really shaping what our future is going to look like.